and welcome to Beauty and Gratitude. I'm D'angelo Thompson. Thank you guys for joining tonight. I have some amazing guests, and we're going to talk about beauty and gratitude. Homayra, Razawi, we're going to talk about just skincare and all the things that she does in her spa in New York City. And I have Matiki Anoff, a wonderful, amazing makeup artist that has worked for the Met Opera, also in film and television. So you guys will get a wealth of information, and just hang in there, tune in, and just if you have any questions, you know how to reach me through soulivity.com. And welcome. And again, Happy New Year. And let's start with Homayra. Hi, Homayra. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you, D'angelo, for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How's your year going so far?
Great. So far, so good.
Okay. So tell us about your New York Pro Spa. Like, when did you open it? Let's talk about that.
Well, New York Pro Spa started in 2010.
Okay.
And I started out of my home, and I have 2 locations right now, but it's subleasing in a salon and also in the city, because it's all, for me, it's a very personal. This is not something about my brand and not something about making money, a lot of money, but this is a very personal, that I want to give the best service. That's why I am providing the service.
Okay.
And that's when it started in NY Pro Spa.
That's beautiful. I know that you, before New York Pro Spa, you did permanent like brows, right? And lip line, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Well, I did the micropigmentation,
Yes.
which is a powdering, and then I took a fibrow, the microblading.
Yeah.
And I did for many years, I don't know if you remember from San Francisco, I did a brow shaping.
Yes.
Brow tinting, lash tinting, and work also with Warm Chikomi Salon as well in New York. So that's why I started going also in brow, but from brow, I started going more of aesthetic and grooming and skincare. I got my license in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm more focused now in skin. I do a lot of skincare, and I got my license 2008 and started 2010 and the NY Pro Spa. And I've been taking a lot of classes, and for me, it's a continuation of education for to be on top of the what's new. As you said, in a medical, also I'm a member of a Empire Medical Training, that looking other side of the skin, and that's why I can give the best service for my clients. So I take continuous education for skin.
Well, Homayra, you're amazing at what you do, and Mateen is one of your biggest fans. I think you know that.
Yeah, thank you. You see Mateen.
He's always using like your skincare, your gadgets, everything, which is amazing, because I actually do pay attention to what he does, and it always circles back to your treatments. You know, I see your hands a lot of times.
Yeah, you know. Mateen is a big fan of, which I think in today's industry, in a medical and aesthetic world, it's microneedling is very much in. Microneedling, dermabrasion, dermaplaning, and LED light. That work very well with also if you have a good diet and a good skincare regimen. And Mateen is big fan of microneedling.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in a whole thing, taking a lot of medical classes for me, that when you injure the skin, then the skin repairs itself. So that's why how the Lancet came out with microneedling in 1992. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So when you injure the skin brings all the nutrient there to keep your skin, to stimulate the collagen production in your skin, give a brightness to the skin, get rid of the pigmentation. So this is a very big thing now, and you really don't need a lot of other things. You want to injure your skin slowly and it repairs itself, because our own body has the ability to repair itself.
That's true. Well, I know who I want to go see the next time I'm in New York. So, Homayra, look for a call. I have a question about your approach to skincare. Can you share that with us?
Well, skincare is a reflection of your inner health and emotional and physical. So
Yeah.
when I look at this skin, when I look at my clients, so it's not that only I take care of their face skin, I look at their whole body. So for me, it's important to, they will have accomplished more of a sound mind, body, and soul.
Yes,
So
that's good.
yeah. So that's my approach to skincare. So taking care of your skin and as well as your body and mind.
That's interesting, Homayra, because that was one of the questions I had. You focus on internal, external, and spiritual. It's all in alignment. So, and you answered it before I even had the question. So thank you for that. Um, you know, like I talked about Mateen being one of your cheerleaders, but did you learn a lot from your family, like from your grandmother, your mother, when it came to skincare?
Oh, absolutely. As a kid, watching my mom actually made wax from sugar and lemon.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and also being from Afghanistan, that part of the world, it's very dry. And when the season changed, so we, as fall would come in, like we would have cracks working, playing outside, that your hands would get cracked. So my mom would take glycerin with lemon and would mix that, and that would use it on our hand. And in the morning when you wake up, it's like literally you would have baby skin on your hand.
So your mom was an alchemist. She was an alchemist.
Oh yeah. And it's still, you know what, a lot of time I do that. When I do in my treatment room, I take a little bit of glycerin and mix it with vitamin C, with a little bit of drop of glycolic. So I will do massaging with that and then putting a mask on top. So it works really great. I mean, that's how they came out with the peels, right?
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And another thing that I learned from the women on my family, I don't know if you ever seen it. I brought it with me here to show you. This is called kisa.
Kisa? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a mitten. You put it on in your hand, like in Turkish imams. I don't know if you heard of, like, they would do body exercise. So you put it in your hand and you do something. This is what my grandma used to take us to her mom back home in Afghanistan, and would pay somebody, and they would do from top to the bottom. They would do exfoliate us with this.
Wow.
Any other product, just this. So my mom used it, and I'm using it still.
Okay.
And my daughter's using this.
And I'm sure it sloughs off a lot of dead skin, right? And really reinvigorates your body.
See that the dead cell will come out. Yeah.
Wow.
It's great.
It's similar to Korean spas as well, because a friend went to one and they did something very similar. And he said the skin that was flying off of his body.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been to Korean spa, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's amazing.
That's great.
Well, you know, this show is mainly about beauty, which you and I have discussed, but I also want to talk about what you're grateful for. So what are you grateful for?
Oh my God, where am I going to start? I'm grateful for everything in my life. I'm so grateful. I don't know if you knew that I have fibromyalgia.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, I have a condition that when I lived in California in Fremont, I took Tai Chi for 2 years. That it was holistic healing and doing a lot of meditation. So at the end of the class, the master would warm up her hands, and she would name each body part, which I'm sure as a Reiki master, you do that.
Yes.
Putting your hand and saying, thank you, God, for my hair, for my eyes, for my eyebrow, everything. So I've been doing that lately. Every morning when I wake up after my prayers, I name each body part, and I'm thankful. And it's like, if I just sit down and name everything, it would take days. But every minute I walk, I'm thankful for everything, for my friends, for my family, for my children, for in this pandemic, having everything. I mean, a lot of people, other part of the world doesn't have anything to eat. We should be so grateful for everything.
Amen. You know, Homayra, I got chills as you were talking. It's just a reminder. I used to do the whole Reiki, body thing from head to toe, and I stopped, probably about for 2 months. And I need to start reinvigorating that into my routine because it's so important. So important.
It is.
Yeah.
I find it amazing because I do offer Reiki in my treatment room.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, it's so weird that I had a client yesterday and she was a master of Reiki herself. She said she'd been offering to a lot, and I said, wait, let me do, because I do incorporate with my facial. She felt so amazing, and it was so, she said she meditated, and she was the new client. She said she meditated, and somehow I came to her that she wanted to see me.
Interesting. Yes.
And when I did the Reiki on her, and I could feel like literally I had a throbbing in this part of my hand. And she said she felt the same way.
Yeah.
And with Reiki's energy, and I'm a strong believer of the energy, and we all have it. It's just that we have to get rid of a lot of negative things in our body.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing experience that she felt it, and I felt her energy as well.
Wow.
And to me, skincare is a self-care.
Yes. And, Reiki is also self-healing. It's using the energy of the person to work through their body, whatever they're going through. Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So, yes. So, Homayra, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And how can we reach you via social media and also where your spa is located?
Well, I have Instagram, NY Pro Spa. They can reach me through Instagram, through email, nyprospa@nyprospa.com.
Perfect.
You can look at my website, nyprospa.com. They can text me if they want. I have a phone number as well, 718-308-6193.
And all that information is right below, guys. So you'll see it near Homayra's name. So please reach out to her. And I swear, when I get back to New York, you've been asking me to come in for years. And I just want to say that to everybody. Yes. And I'm going to honor it and come in. And then one thing about me, if I love something, I will talk about it forever. So I'll be another, like Mateen. So thank you so much, Homayra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And we'll be right back with more beauty and gratitude. Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
You've all done autism awareness training, but what did you really become aware of? That autistic people have obsessive and repetitive behaviours, have trouble making eye contact, don't really make friends easily? It's time for that form of training to go, because what everybody needs, whether it's autistic children or adults in the workplace, is acceptance. So what I would like you to do is to think of everything that you've ever learned about autism and autistic people, crump it all up, and throw it away, because this is something completely different. It's an entirely new model of training. It's about neurodiversity, it's about acceptance, and it's how autistic people like me and everyone else out there can grow to live happy and successful lives in school and in the workplace. My name's Jude Morrow, and this is Neurodiversity.
Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us.
Welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude, everyone. And thank you, Homayra Razawi, for coming on and talking about your New York Pro Spa. And definitely, guys, check it out. She's been in business for over a decade, and many friends and high-profile clients go to see her, and she knows her stuff. And I am so excited to have Matiki Anoff. I met her, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, and I really felt like I met my sister, not only my sister in arts, but my sister just spiritually, my sister. So I want to welcome her, and we're going to talk all things beauty and gratitude and just about alignment. So welcome, Matiki Anoff. Hello, Matiki.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Wonderful, thank you.
Good. Honey, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're really busy right now and juggling a lot. I want to dive in.
Yes.
Okay. I know you grew up in Ghana, the UK, and now you live in the US.
Correct.
Is there any other place in the world you would want to live?
Any other place that I'd want to live? No, I think I love living in New York, and I also love living in Ghana. I'm not so fond of England, primarily because of the weather. No, I think I'm very, very happy where I am.
That's beautiful. You know, I know you've been a makeup artist for a very long time. Did you always want to be a makeup artist as a child, or did it come later in life?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Actually, I wanted to do medical makeup. Actually, during college, we did a work release where we would go to burn units, accident parts of the hospital, and when they were rehabilitating, we would make up. If they'd been severely burned, we would help them cover a burn. Wow. And I would become so emotional doing this and seeing people so disfigured that I would cry. And so after a while, they called me into the administration and said, you know, we're trying to cheer people up here. I'm not trying to make them worse, make them more depressed. This is really, you're just not cut out for this. And I was devastated, absolutely devastated. So I had no idea what I was going to do. Okay.
And then from there, you moved to the US and then became more into makeup artistry?
I did, actually. After that, I just didn't know what to do. I had no focus, no direction. So I actually was estranged from my father. So I knew he was living in New York, and I came to visit him. And
wow.
Yeah, and I stayed here a while, and then I met a guy, and he was in commercials. He was doing commercials and stuff like that. And he said, "Oh, you're a makeup artist, right? They're looking for a makeup artist." I was like, "Oh, okay." And that's how it started.
How many years now?
Oh, it's a long time now. Very, very long, maybe 30 years.
Oh, we're about the same. I started in 89, 90.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's interesting is that I know from there commercials, you also worked at the Met Opera,
yes.
Had a beauty contract, and now film and television. I mean, that's a pretty impressive
yes.
career, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've done a lot. The opera was probably the most challenging. I had never done any kind of theater or live stuff ever. So it was really quite challenging because, you know, in film and television, every minute we stop and we touch up.
Right.
And I had to navigate this new medium where I might not see the soprano for 2 hours.
Wow. Yes.
So I had to think of a way, how to make this makeup last, and through different lighting setups, you know. So yeah, it's been the most challenging, I would say, of all makeups.
It's interesting. I started in the arts and in theater when I was in high school. So I learned a lot of theatrical makeup then. And I was talking to Jimmy Cortez, who you maybe have worked with at the Met Opera.
I did work with him, yes.
Yeah. So Jimmy, we were talking about his journey too. And he was saying how it really takes years to learn, you know, especially opera theatrical makeup, you know, and it's definitely an art form. So, but it's amazing that you do it all, from fashion to beauty to, you know, special effects, theatrical makeup for the opera, film and television. Like that's impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. So my question now, I have a whole list. I'm very Barbara Walters when it comes to.
Oh.
So my next question really is, what lesson would you want to share with aspiring artists or even established makeup artists?
What lesson? You know, I think the lesson that I would like to share, and something that I like to do, is to lead with love.
Yeah.
It may sound corny or, okay, we'll leave me with love, but really that's my focus. I want everybody to feel good working with me, for me, and that I'm working on. So you can only have that if everything around you is balanced. So I choose very, very, very well who I work with and how I share my space. Now I'm fortunate that I can choose that. For so long, I couldn't. And I was in some very uncomfortable situations that I vowed when I was in the position, I would never have those kind of entities in my orbit.
Yes.
So yeah, I choose very, very, very well.
We speak the same language when it comes to that. I realized over 10 years ago that I would not work for certain people, and I don't care what the opportunity was, I would figure out a way to say no.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's in front of the camera or behind the camera.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. I've said no to some big names, and I'm okay with that, you know?
Yes.
Definitely okay with that. I know that it's interesting you would bring that up. So your spirituality actually influences your professional choices, which it does for me. It's important that
undoubtedly.
Love. Yes, it's very important. How important is alignment? I know you mentioned that, alignment. How important is that?
I think it's essential. I think there's nothing without alignment. Yeah. If you're not aligned with yourself, with others, what's the point, really? You know, I think we all have to bring something to the table. And sometimes I think you're here to be taught some level of alignment, or you teach some level of alignment. Either way, it's a give and take.
Yes, we're either the teacher or the student. And I always say that we never stop learning, which leads to my next question, which is really good. You didn't even know what these questions were, by the way, everybody. So it's ironic that everything you're saying is leading to the next question. So I know education is very important for you and your family. You know, yes. I love that. Where did that come from?
You know, I'm an African. So I think I'll speak for Ghana. I think it's true of most Anglophone and Francophone Africans, that when you're colonized and colonization forces you to feel that you're lesser than your colonizer. So we're always striving for more. So Africans tend to really study hard. Also, so often, not in my case, but say in my parents' time, the exams were sent to Africa from England and then sent back to be marked. And so often they would, in England, if you failed one subject, you would just take that subject over. But to keep the African numbers down, if you failed English, which is not your first language, you had to take all 6 subjects again. So everybody studied so incredibly well,
Wow.
especially English, and so that they wouldn't have to go through that. So education is just paramount in our culture. Yes.
It's interesting. I was having the same conversation with our show last week with Mamido Soshu. Her dad was a premier of the French Congo, and she said the exact same thing.
Yes.
The importance of education and how her dad, because, you know, being colonized, they perceived him a certain way and they realized how bright he was and brought him to Belgium, you know, to continue his education.
Yes.
And he was the one to keep peace between the Belgium and, you know, the Congo, which they were about to slaughter the Belgian people. He was the one, isn't it? But it's interesting that he used what they were using as a weapon to really assail and also to make peace.
Absolutely.
You know, my mom's like that. She's very strong on education, you know, and maybe that comes from her African roots or her Southern roots, but she's definitely, I mean, has multiple degrees, you know, and my sister does too. And it's just interesting now, as you know, I'm back in school and working, but back in school, and now my thirst, I'm like, wow, I really have a thirst for education more so than I always knew I loved learning, but now I'm like, maybe I will become a doctor after all. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, what do you find beautiful in the world? What do you find beautiful?
What do I find beautiful? I find innocence beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. I find humility beautiful.
Yes.
I think humbleness is beautiful. There's so many things, but I would say those are the two biggest for me.
Yes.
I love somebody who comes from the heart and is humble.
Yes. Yes. It's very important. And what are you grateful for?
Oh, the list is so long. In life, I'm grateful for, you know, so many people have lost their lives this year. I get a bit emotional. Yeah. So I'm grateful that I've been given this chance when so many people haven't been.
Yeah.
I've not suffered greatly in this pandemic, which is incredible. I talked to my partner Javier and I said, our life hasn't changed. We have got nothing to complain about. We've eaten the same, we have heating, we have shelter, you know. We should be very grateful for both of us who didn't work for a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of families would collapse. So we're grateful for that. And of course, my family, great friends.
Yes, yes.
And just this great life.
Yes, I would agree with you. I seriously, this year, 2021, I was going to take off and I had it planned in my head for 4 years. I was like, I'm taking the year off in 2021. And then March 2020 came.
Exactly.
And the universe was like, all of you are going to stop.
Everybody.
And from March till pretty much December, I worked a little September through December, but it was slower than I'm used to. Yes. I thanked God profusely for that time because I needed to regroup because I was on full burnout. I don't know about you, but I was on full burnout, you know.
You don't know until you stop. You really, I had no idea. And that it was, I mean, it was challenging, but I don't think, I mean, for people who have lost a loved one, of course, the pandemic has been absolutely terrible, but I think it also had a lot of pluses. It stopped, you know, the environment changed, animals came out.
Yes.
We had to learn to be still because we can really be distracted all the time and fill ourselves with all the stuff we have to do and not take a time. I got to know, I'd been with my partner for 4 years. I got to know him best in the pandemic.
Yes, and I've heard that a lot with people, you know. For me, I would go to the Pacific Ocean, and this was probably in May or June. So we're still in serious quarantine, but I'm by the ocean, I'm like, what feels different? I was like, oh, I can smell it.
Exactly.
And I was sick in March where I couldn't smell or taste.
Yes.
And to be able to smell I feel like I'm about to cry. To be able to
Yes,
sail the ocean and to be able to see the bottom of the Hudson when I'm in New York and
exactly.
see the birds and hear the birds and see greenery, plants that I never noticed,
Yes,
it really, you feel like Snow White in a garden. You're like,
yes,
you know,
yes, absolutely.
and you hear the birds. It's very much like a Disney movie,
Yes,
but it also gives us a reminder how we should really approach life in many ways.
yes.
So it's amazing. There were some other questions I had here for you. I think you pretty much answered all of them, Matiki. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yep. Yep. So tell me, Ghana. Let's talk a little bit about Ghana and the beauty.
Okay.
How's the beauty industry in Ghana, and how do you see the infrastructure growing, globally? And I know it is, so it's kind of a question I know
Yeah,
the answer
I think the beauty industry has really opened its eyes to the African market. I believe L'Oreal is there,
to.
has, I mean, set up offices there,
Yeah.
and also in South Africa. I forgot what else, but there's a couple of really big companies there. And I'm driving in Ghana, I'm like, wow.
Mhm.
So, yeah, everybody is catching on that
Yeah.
we are like everybody else, and we buy makeup, and we buy a lot of makeup. We're very interested in the current trends.
Mhm.
And to be honest, sometimes the trends start there.
Yeah, of course. Like they start in
Absolutely.
the
The
hood
first
too.
time I had lash extensions 10 years ago when nobody was doing them in the States. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I went to go and I said to my cousin, how are your lashes so long? She said, oh no, these are lash extensions. I said, what? She said, oh yeah, they put them on individually. Ghana. First
Yeah.
time I'd even seen them.
Wow. People really don't know how progressive Africa is. And
Exactly.
it's really just my friend Talari Monterang from South Africa, she's a designer, and
Mhm.
the amount of knowledge and the amount of beautiful fashions that she creates and the people that she knows, I'm like, I
Yes.
need a closet as big as this apartment to have some of the
Yes.
pieces that I've seen her show me. And
Yeah.
it's a disservice to the world, really.
Yes.
To underestimate any culture.
Absolutely.
It's
I
just, it's
think
amazing.
Naomi Campbell has put a big spotlight actually recently on, she's always in Ghana and Nigeria, but she's been doing a lot. I think that's really opened a lot of people's eyes. And then of course, the editor of British Vogue is Ghanaian,
Mhm.
so yeah.
At work in Enfield,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
interesting. I watched Naomi's show, and she does mention to a lot of the big designers and people she talks to, she's like, you
Yes,
guys really need to go to Nigeria and Ghana and really stop playing.
exactly.
She's very, like, with her Gemini self, she's very strong with it. And
Yes.
like, you're missing out. Don't
Yes,
appropriate. Go there and create together, something
exactly.
amazing. It's true.
Exactly.
It's very true. I do know that major companies, I don't want to name the companies, but that are throughout Africa, and some of them have gotten in trouble for certain advertising or certain wording in their
Oh, really?
advertising. It was a big thing in South Africa. And if
Mhm.
you look up the article, I'm not going to say the company's name because I don't want to be
Okay.
sued, but if you look up the article, the South African people was like, no more of this, like, not understanding our hair texture, the wording, over retouching, taking out pigmentation, like no
Yes.
more of this. And they literally
Good.
were picketing the stores. And that particular
Fantastic.
company, they pull those ads so fast, they turn that terminology around. So I think there's a room for each of us as artists to be in
Yes,
those markets and to be really strong in those markets.
absolutely.
So if you're listening, you know who you are. If you're listening, Matiki or myself or many artists, around the world can be an asset to you. So I think that's really important for them to know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about your career and then I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I know you worked for L'Oreal, or was it CoverGirl? You had a contract.
CoverGirl, Procter and
CoverGirl.
Gamble. Yes.
Yes. And you worked on that, and then just recently you worked with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom,
I
which
did.
is a beautiful film. Beautiful
Thank
film.
you.
So tell me what's going on with that as far as press.
Okay. At the moment, we're having a lot of interviews because people, I think, have just been blown away. It was such a wonderful project to work on. I mean, nobody goes into a project thinking of awards. It was just this little small movie. Denzel produced this one. I worked on Fences before, which he directed, and he didn't direct this one. And I remember saying to him, "You're not going to direct?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to try this producer thing." I was like, "Oh, okay." And you know, we just love working with him. He puts together an incredible crew, and it's like family. And we gather every few years and put out a lovely piece of material for the world.
That's
This
beautiful.
one, I don't know the reason, maybe because of Netflix and the global reach has just like gone on fire. Everybody's loving this. Also Chadwick's, of course, last incredible performance, Viola. And you know, it's such a small movie. Everything pretty much takes place in 2 rooms. And
That's
it's
amazing.
not really what audience wants now. They want a lot of effects and, you know, a lot of stunts and stuff like that. It's such a small, intimate story. But it's captured the hearts of the nation, of the world, really. So I've been called on for a lot of interviews about it.
Well, it's shot in a theatrical style, which is amazing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then Viola Davis and Chadwick, Chadwick's role was
Incredible.
hard. And
Yes.
because I can see that man in many men that I've known in my own personal life, as far as family,
Yes.
that subtle anger, but not understanding what it is until you talk to them.
Yes.
And then you go, oh, wait, your grandmother was hung, you know,
Yes.
or your mom
Yes.
was this. He really captured the essence of that
He
pain.
did.
And then Viola's character, historically, you know, Ma Rainey, blues, you know, I'm from the South, so I know the blues. And if I really, I can sing the blues too, if I really want to be honest. But it's such an integral part of Black history. It's an integral part of American history, and it's an integral part of world history. The blues leads to rock and roll, leads to R&B, or R&B to rock and roll, basically.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so yeah.
Country, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, especially the scene when they're in the backwoods and she's singing and doing her thing. I was like, those are called gyp joints. I don't know if people know that, but if you're from the South, and I'm almost 50, I do remember backwoods little shacks where older people would go to hear people sing, to drink illegal liquor, to drink.
Yes.
Probably somebody's moonshine, but those are called gyp joints. So that's what that was, and it really beautiful. As you know, as you can tell, I loved it. So
yeah,
great job.
I mean, we love doing that scene. Branford Marsalis was there that night, doing the music, like composing it, and it was just incredible. It's incredible. So
that's history. That's a piece of history.
It was just so funny because so many, you know, we had so many extras. And they're all here. They're going to be in a movie with Chadwick and Viola. And then we were like, yeah, we're taking all your makeup off. They're like, what? We're like, yeah, it's like it's a southern scene. And you're like, sharecroppers.
Yes.
Oh my God. They were devastated. So most people were upset for that scene because we just washed their faces clean. And they weren't prepared for it.
Those huge brows. Like, no, girl.
Yes, exactly. The nails gotta come off. Oh my goodness.
Clack, 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 clack.
Yes, yeah. So it was a very interesting day.
Wow. Thank you so much for talking with me.
You're welcome.
And I can't wait for our viewers to see this. So, and check out Ma Rainey's Black Bottom on Netflix. And Matiki, where can we find you? On Instagram?
Yes, on Instagram. My Instagram is Matiki Pro Makeup.
Okay.
And on Facebook, it's Matiki Akua.
Okay.
And that's where you can find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I just
You're
want to say to
welcome.
everyone, thank you for tuning in. And Matiki, love you.
Love you
And
too.
see you soon. Take care, my love.
Absolutely. Take good care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And we'll be right back with more beauty and gratitude.
My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Soulivity Live. Hey, my sister, how are you?
It's Lent, right? Yeah. we might need some more wine for this.
So, let's get this party started, y'all. Hey, my sister, mademoiselle.
That is the most amazing introduction I have ever heard.
Oh. Of myself and Madison, Brian Wesley Johnson. Thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. You a life full of passion, purpose, and high quality living. See you next time. Bye.
Maybe not so much in the UK and Ireland, but certainly in the United States, I would find that a lot of people use the word autism to describe someone who has an intellectual disability. Now let's just clear a few things up. Yes, those with intellectual disabilities can be autistic, although by and large, autistic people tend not to have intellectual disabilities. That's where it lies. And this is where the problem really is that a lot of people think that autism is an intellectual disability, whereas it isn't. What it is simply a different way of processing and communicating information. So if I were to ask and plead for one thing, it is please, please do not use the word autism to describe a learning disability, although I do keep in mind that there are those with learning disabilities who are autistic as well.
Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us.
I want to just say thank you to Matiki Anoff and Homayra Razawi. Thank you guys so much for being on. And again, check out New York Pro Spa in New York City. Amazing facialist, esthetician, and she incorporates Reiki and many practices of healing. And like she said, it's really about internal, external, and spiritual alignment. And you can plump and do all types of things to your face, but it has to do with internally what's going on as well. So health is essential in a whole 360 approach. And to Matiki, thank you so much for coming on. I know you've been really busy with press for Ma Rainey and with other projects. And I just want to thank you for being just a sister friend, and I've known you for a little over 4 years, going on 5 years. And I just love being in your orbit, and both of you ladies love being in your orbit. And to everyone, check out our Go Shop on Soulivity.com. You also can find my book, Beauty and Gratitude, there. 100 Days of Gratitude is the book, actually. And that came out in 2020, and it's been doing really well. It's touched a lot of people. I would advise you to pick it up and share with your family and friends. And it's an amazing, heartfelt book from me, and it's really about my own process of 10 to 20 days talking about gratitude, not days, but morning. Every morning I write down 10 to 20 things that I'm grateful for. And I think it's an important process. It really grounds me throughout the day. When I'm feeling a little disconnected, it really aligns my process. So whether you do it in the morning or at night, it's a great practice. And 100 Days of Gratitude will help you definitely start that practice, even if you're reading the words that I wrote, you will feel the influence in your life. And this is what I've heard from many, many readers. It's on Amazon.com. It's on the Go Shop here at Soulivity.com. You also can find it on my website, d'angelothompson.art/books. And all of my books are there, actually. What else could I say? Happy New Year. I have a lot of great shows for you. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Mamadou Soshu last week and enjoying this interview right now. And please share with friends and family here from YouTube or Facebook, or you can go to Soulivity.com, and have a lot of great guests for you coming up in the next few weeks and months to come for season 2. Maybe I can give you some of the names that I'm really excited about. Let's do that. I've reached out to a very talented fitness guy. His name is Hamid Johannes, and Human Energy is the name of his company. An amazing trainer. He loves fitness. You can see the enthusiasm in fitness, and then being outdoor and outdoor adventures, and also the connection with nature. So I'm excited to talk to him. I also have Sonia Francis, the astrologer coach. She is amazing. If you ever wanted a natal chart or a chart done with astrology, she is your person, and she is going to share her skills. And Julia Giovanni Davis, who's a Reiki master and healer based here in Los Angeles, and very powerful, and you'll learn a lot from her as well. And then I have Stefan Ducret, and he'll be up soon. We're talking about his art as a painter. There's a big show coming up in Lucerne. In Geneva. He's in Geneva now, Switzerland. So I'm excited to talk to him about his new show, which starts in February, and I think through April 2021. And Crystal and Ray McGuire. Ray McGuire is running for mayor of New York. So I can't wait to have him on to talk about his race and what he intends to do to bring the city back to life. New York was very affected by COVID in 2020, and the economy, the city economy, is really affected by it. So I want him to talk about that, and his wife, Crystal McGuire, who's an amazing author, attorney, TV producer, you name it. And then her role as possibly First Lady of New York City, which I think is going to happen, guys. We have actress Puya. Puya is a trans actress, and she's amazing. I want to talk to her. And many, many others are coming on. And Candace Harper, the love coach, and we'll talk about love and exploration. And as you can see, this format has changed. I will have either one guest or two guests. We won't be having 3 guests anymore. So it's important that I want you to really get the full impact of the interview. So I want to thank each of you for tuning in to Beauty and Gratitude, and I'll see you here next week. Take care. Ciao.